bananas, but actually a rare form of sweet mushroom that they cultivate and turn into all sorts of foods, but especially render down into mushroom. All right, I have my... All right, everyone, welcome to Worldbuilding Workshop and Ask Me Anything Settlements, the Underhaven special in honor of and for the wonderful Penny Blake, serial hugger. Oh, the crowd goes wild. You are very welcome, my dear. All right, so... I have up my map building program. We will also, obviously, open up a new file to put this stuff in. At the moment we are just calling it Underhaven. We may change the name later. I will also create a notes document. But something that I have for every settlement, as we have previously discussed, I have my settlement format and document. That we will be entering all this on. And eventually, we probably won't get done with this today, but eventually, just like Rotbaden, we will be sharing this with everyone on the website once we are done with it. All right, so we open up our settlement template. We open up our notes so that we can note it down. Mushroom made from sweet mushrooms shaped like bananas. All right. So we know that already. That's interesting. But the thing we have up on our screen is a map. What kind of a map do we make that shows what we want? Well, it's actually pretty easy. Let's go Terra format. No, I don't like Terra format. It's the wrong color. Wait, I can change the color. Can I? Yep, okay. Nope, we don't want it to actually look like water. Let's go with paper, because what we can do is pretend that everything that would be water is in fact dirt. All right. That being the case, let us generate kind of a random looking cavern, as it were. Hey, Devious, how's it going with you, my friend? Not go uniform. Let's go continent. Lower the water level. All right. Now that gives us an idea of what the caverns kind of look like. Let's raise some landmass, by which I mean tunnels, to connect these things. Because I'm getting a feeling like it's probably not actually a draw location, although it could be. But it's definitely a huge, originally natural cavern with these offshoots, right? And caverns aren't any use if you can't get to them. Yeah, this tool is fantastic. Wonder Draft, I love this thing. Okay, so now we have an overall shape of our cavern already, right? We can decide what to put where. Sure, but I think we're actually going really exotic here, and we may not base it off of anything societal unless Penny wants to base a lot of it on the Roma, which is entirely up to her from my perspective. I mean, it is a settlement, which would kind of make it weird for the Roma to a certain extent, but you know, whatever. Oh, we need ways in and out of this place. Hang on. Where I grew up, there's a pub which has smugglers' tunnels that lead to underground caverns. Yeah, we have one of those in Savannah, Georgia as well, and another one in St. Augustine. I was thinking definitely that, but like also kind of like maybe a Skullport vibe underwater deep with kind of an Underdark, like connecting to the Underdark kind of place. But those are just my notions right now. Let's see. What can I do with the water? I'm going to change the color, I think. I think the hatch, but we need to get a color on it that is different, I think. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Refugee tunnels that got taken over and repurposed. I like that. And it's not, it's helpful for the Roma and other marginalized communities. Refugee tunnels became smugglers, haven, etc. I need to find how to change the colors of the water. Not the freshwater brush. Ground color brush. I need an outline brush. Okay, that's a little better. There we go. Or maybe that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Storage area, trading, bartering post for Roma and need to take and give to. Evolved secret language. Yep. Absolutely. The Romani use their signs and patrons. There's a whole hobo language in the United States, possibly partially developed from Roma. Elderly woman always ready to help the Roma but cut the throat of any outsider who crossed her or them. Yes. Yes. I think I really like this color set. Maybe. Let's... Or that. Or... Not that. Nope. Maybe paper. Not Terra. Nope. Worn? No. Let's... Not adventure. I think either black and white. I'm using Wonder Draft. Nice. That makes a lot of sense, Penny. Yeah, hobo signs were inspired by Roma patrons. Is that patrons or patrons? Anyway, but not evolved from, I think. You're probably right. Do we like the black and white that I'm showing right now? Patrons. Okay. The sepia tone. Which one is the sepia tone? This one? Cool. And that's what we'll work with. Has a very, the dirt around it's not like black, but it certainly has a cool kind of feel to it. Watercolor brush. We can, in fact, change the color of the outside dirt by doing this. No, that's that. Okay. How's that look? Groovy. Yep. Getting moody. I like it too. All right. So this is a settlement underground. We need a place to put our mushroom forest. Right? I don't know that I have symbols for a mushroom forest, but we can pretend. Yeah. We can make the mushroom forest out of cypress, because they look vaguely mushroomy. We can go custom colors. Go forest. Do we have custom colors on this? No, we don't. So which one looks... No, that doesn't look like it. I guess, yeah, we'll stick with our playful cypress. The hooded depths, forest of giant mushrooms. Maybe. You know what? I think we're going to have the giant mushroom forest be down here in the southwest area. I can see maybe a slender crack, the hooded forest, the hooded depths. I think that's not a bad name. I can see maybe a slender crack where there's a vast wall and mushrooms grow straight up in tiered lines, forcing some collectors to scale the wall, but they may have a pulley system to get up to the higher areas. Maybe. In that case, let's make them more dense around the walls here and in the nooks and crannies. Not like that. So yeah, that's where all the mushrooms came in from originally. And then we label that. Not that color. We need something. Nope, not that one either. Let's see. Let's go with... How do you feel about purple? Well, then it is understood to simply be what we will do. We are here to please. So, this is the hooded depths. The font I'm using, by the way, is called Bilbo. Is there a lot of bioluminescent mushrooms along the wall casting an eerie purplish light? Absolutely. And I even have a way to do that, my friends. Ground color brush. Oh, that's too dark. Yeah, no, I like it. Hang on. Let me grab some of these things y'all are saying so I don't lose them. Yeah, rare mushrooms can release a noxious fume. Absolutely. And that makes the location foggy as well. Glowing shrooms. Got that saved. What else did we say? Purple, craggy wall. Yeah. Highest parts are where some of the most rare mushrooms grow. Yeah. Strange semi-noxious fog that glows purple. And spills out a little bit. And we got here from Roma. All right, very cool, guys. Welcome to all who are here, who were not here at the beginning. We are building Underhaven, a special underworld smuggler and criminal haven for our wonderful friend, Penny Blake, Serial Hugger. All right, so let us go back to the map. All right, so that would probably, I think, make the southern area a storage area. Which means there's going to be some buildings in there. But not standard, boring buildings. Oh no. Something different than what we use much of the time. Let us see. I don't think Arab buildings really work. Penny, question. Are we more likely, given the cultural background, foundation by Roma, are we more likely to have tents used for storage down here or permanent structures? Bender tents. What is a bender tent? Semi-permanent but modular bender tents. What are bender tents? I don't know what those are. Off to research. Oh yeah, temporary or semi-permanent shelter. Yup. Nope, that makes perfect sense. I get it. Sweet. And I think I have symbols for that already. Let me stare at my pictures. I certainly have close to, something close to it. Also, we have some industrial buildings we will put in elsewhere. And I wish that castle was available in color. Oh, it is. It just looks totally different. Okay, never mind. Down to the tents. Down to the tents. Doot. This is not the size I'll be using. Is that roughly look like the right sort of thing, or are we more thinking, or like, is it more like this one? That's fair. All right, we are going to reduce the size because otherwise this will end up being a very small settlement as we fill it up with nonsense. There we go. All right, well, then we'll use both. But I realized that I had grabbed the wrong one from what I had intended to grab originally, because we're favoring that one. Vardo vibes to a rail system. Yeah, like the caravans on rails throughout the town. Do I have rails? Maybe. That's not good. We could do that differently. Also, the color is poor. Let's go with that. Does that look more like a rail? Or does... Oh. That look more like a railway. I think the one with the arrows looks more like a railway. Yeah. Cool. Alright, and now we reduce its width quite a bit. Yep, that's a much better size. Here we have our literal underground railroad. I don't know if they'd see it as an amusement park, but maybe. We're going to have to ask Penny, because Penny's going to give us a full idea of what the amusement, of what the leader of this town is like. Almost certainly horse-drawn, unless we want to advance to a more steampunk era, which is perfectly fine if we do. Yeah, that would make sense. Plus, horse-drawn just gives it a very real, old-style Vardo feeling, right? I mean, I suppose they could be mechanical. The horses could be mechanical. Then instead of feeding them, you could feed them right. Exactly. We can have brass horses that basically have biological. They run on biodiesel, also made from the mushrooms. Brass horses, those funky horses. Brass horses, courses, those funky horses. Yeah, absolutely. The better the horse, the better your status. And of course, the carriages are very. The Vardos are very colorful, as they all are. All right, cool. We're going all over the place. We've got our storage area to the south. What other major regions of town? Oh yeah, you have to have lots of magical protections on them so they don't break down. And so the Vardos, which are as much home as transport, even when they're on the rails, I assume. When they're moving around, they use the rails, but they pull them off to the side, if they're settling in for a while. So a lot of Underhaven is just going to be empty space to park your Vardo. I don't think the shops and major people are mechanical puppets. People need to be people. Hey, Fey Earth, thanks for showing up. Yeah, we want the people to be people, right? In the easiest ways. Although there may well be like long-term mechanical beings who stay here to keep the place running. But of course there are other people as well. All right, right over here in the edge, we have the factory in which they process the shrooms. Over here, we have the semi-permanent house of the head woman, probably. We have the permanent building of a hospital. And over here we got another factory doing something else. That's right, Penny. What's the name of the lady in charge? Meeting hall for the Chris or Council. Absolutely. Let me see what that looks like. The meeting hall is the massive opulent shaped horse. That would be great. I don't have a symbol for that. We're going to use this cool Islamic library to stand in for the meeting house. Head woman is Shavani. Man is Rombaro. Is that her name, though, or is that her title? Titles. So what is her name, this particular woman? Snake Mary Freedom Kameski Petulingro. Okay. And I think she is, we will call her, oh, absolutely. We will call her both the Shovani and the Drabarni, depending, because I think that, yes, she is also a healer. And I will actually put that in my settlement template under authorities. And just so you can see what I wrote, I'm going to actually share that real quick. A visual of an opulent horse wrapped by a snake as Snake Mary's symbol. I don't know if the horse would be her personal symbol, but okay, good. All right. So yeah, symbol is a horse and snake. What kind of snake is it? Is it a constrictor or is it a viper? Cool. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. What's really interesting about medicine snake being a word for adder in Romani or in Romanes is that Romanesh? Anyway, is that Romanesh or Romansh? I'm trying to pronounce it correctly. Anyway, is that the rattlesnake and other snakes are definitely seen as healing images all across Native American tribes. Romance. Okay. All right, so commerce, smuggling everything. Smuggling everything, lots of found and reacquired goods. Only in Romania do they say Romanes? Okay. I mean, it depends, I suppose, on whether she is in a Native American context or not, because there aren't rattlesnakes in the old world, as far as I know. Do we want to put rattlesnakes in this world? We can. Doesn't have to follow our world's background. Yeah, rattlesnakes are North American almost exclusively, as far as I know, unless they've been moved. So, would they call her enforcers and helpers adders? Or some other adders or vipers or... What do we think? Adders or vipers? That's all I got right now. Cool. We put that under law and order. Alright, I think we need to get back to the map. For one thing, just because it's so pretty. I love the color combos. This is going to be fun. All right, anyway, where were we? We need... So those are maybe our only actual standard buildings, but we do need to label them because people will not know what they are. So I know what the big factory is. That's the primary smith works. And then over here we have mushroom processing. Over here, I wonder if there's copper they can pan for down here from underground streams. My dear Penny. Obviously there is, because you have now suggested it. How do we feel about this area being run by Wan T and Snake Mary can be an actual Adder Wan T healer throwing out ideas? That's kind of up to Penny. I don't think we necessarily want to associate the Wan T with the Roma. Right, very good. Penny would prefer she be human, so we will go on with that. Yeah, I thought that might be how we felt back. I just did all that work. Oh well. Time to do it again. right. Now we have our water. They needed water, obviously, for this to work, right? And then we have an offshoot. To water the mushrooms. No problem, Penny. We're going to actually go ahead. I've been doing this for an hour. We're going to take a 10-minute break. Yeah, that is my standard, okay? Meanwhile, come on back in 10 minutes and see where the rest of Underhaven goes and what we make of it. All right, I am back. Yeah, do you know most of the things you can find online about the Roma people are not written by the Roma people and do not actually comprehend the Roma culture. Do not trust what you find online. Yep, don't trust what you find online about the Roma. Talk to Roma directly. Talk to Penny. If she's willing, she might get you in touch with other people you can talk to about it, but do not just accept what you find online. There's a lot of falsehoods and propaganda. The Roma face extraordinary prejudice all over Europe and even some in the US. No stories about the Roma without the Roma. Yep, I don't talk about the Roma on my channels, even though technically I'm sort of allowed to because I was adopted into a Roma family grouping in southern Spain. But I am not ethnically Roma. I did not grow up Roma. I did not experience Roma life, so I do not speak on it. Right, I'm allowed to, technically, but I do not because I don't know enough, and I am not going to misrepresent the culture. I'm talking about it now because I can check with Penny immediately and go, is this correct? Yeah, the wiki is absolutely wrong. I mean, there are elements of it that are correct, I'm sure, but a wiki is a good place to start for a lot of things, but when you're dealing with marginalized communities who have not been spoken to about these things, it's really, really less helpful. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'm changing the name of the Smithworks to Brass Works, and I may be changing the color. Like Underhaven and Hooded Depths, we will keep purple, but I think we may change some of the other things to a brass color. Damn, caps lock. Yeah, I would absolutely love to do a stream or podcast with Penny on whatever lore she is willing and allowed to share. Yeah, this is more readable too. Oh, thank you. Devious is almost certainly drawing us something neat. Reducing the outline. Makes it much more readable in general. I'm very fond of it. Oh yeah, no, I do this all the time, so I've gotten really experienced at it. Let me start adding a little bit of cool water. That's too big. I think that's a little too rough. Got us a nice little pond there. Nice little pool down in there. Central pools, because, you know. Pool in the mushroom farm. Cool. So I think the northeast and east sides are... I would absolutely love you to be present on my streams. I do just a ton of world building, and I would love your perspective. All right, so I think we are going to add a little bit more weaving around on the east sides, because they are, this is where they do their mining, right? Also gonna lore dump you some cool Roma mythos now. Neat. I am super pleased. Oh, neat. I would pronounce that Kajali. Kajali. Would that be right? Mushroom fey creatures called Kajali. There is good potential here for some stories. Yeah. Maybe they're not happy. Maybe Kasharli. Kasharli? Kasharli. Maybe sometimes they aren't happy, but maybe also they are propitiated and helped, right? Or they are propitiated and they are willing to help. Because you're referring to them as mostly Seelie, so they might not be always against humanity or whoever else is down there. And I am going to Yeah, no, that's standard for fey creatures throughout many mythologies, so that makes sense to me. Oh, that's super cool. All right. Copy and paste that right into the notes. Yeah, many great stories come out of breaking a particular stricture, taboo, or geasa. Let's see. So we have our copper mines, we have our zinc mines, and it is time now to label the kedge. What did we call them? What did you call them? We call it breaking juju or become marime. So now we have a Kashari Grove. Straight up part of this whole group. And what's interesting about that is, did you know that in Daggerheart, one of the playable races is mushroom people? So we could have those people here, and I can come up with a version of a playable race for Tales of the Valiant if it doesn't already exist. Yeah, one of the playable races in Daggerheart is mushroom people. And we, these mushroom people just happen to be named Kashari. Yeah, I have to, for the other settlement we're building, Worldbuilding, I have to add modifications of Daggerheart lineages, because we're using ogres and giant and goblins in different ways. And then I am also going to add Tales of the Valiant lineages for them as well, right on that same world page, so people can just use it. All right, most of this settlement is not, as we've already know, is not going to be settled, right? The majority of this area, it looks pretty awesome. I'm going to be playing it for the first time relatively soon and running a paid game of it on Thursday evenings after I've been taught how to do it. So down to the south we have storage and market. This is actually more visible if I put it up here. I'm gonna put zinc mines down there. Yeah, what are the respectful ways to harvest mushrooms? She did put it in chat already. See if I can find it. The short version is Snake Mary. Yep. Snake Mary Freedom Kameski Petalingro. Very cool. Kameski is of the sun and Petalingro is smith. Very cool. All right, with that being storage and market, I now need to add more market symbols. Luckily, I actually have a whole subset of that. Got a fountain well down there, and the hospital and Shivani's house. The Shivani's house have their own well. I honestly don't know that we need a lot more on this map because, as we said, the actual dwellings are moving around quite a bit. What is the name of the river? It could just be, you know, the Understream or Copperwater. Copperpani? Okay. Yeah, Copperwater. Very cool. And then, what is the word for mushroom? Because right now we only have one big stream going through the middle and then one going down to the mushroom farm. All right, then. Then we will call it the Kashari Pani. We'll use the other spelling to make it less confusing for people. That is so cool. All right. We have major exits into the mushroom farm and possibly mushroom forest down to the south in the Hooded Depths. We've got the entrance that the Copper Pani comes in through. We've got the exit that the Copper Pani leaves through. And we have another major entrance exit at the northwest. Where does the major entrance exit at the northwest lead, and where does the major exit at the southeast lead? What are your neighbors, and are they friendly, or are they a problem? Also, which of these is, a way to the surface, if there is one? Check the Discord, aye. Oh, that's good. That's real good. Exactly, I agree. So, out, I think, is southeast. So northwest almost certainly leads to... northwest almost certainly leads to the tavern then. Yeah, I absolutely want to share both of those. So yeah, hang on. This is the art that he has created. And this next thing is how he did it. Yeah, Devious is really a very good artist, and I look forward to working with him as much as he will put up with. Especially since he's also very fast. All right. Penny, can you think of any other major things that would need to be in a settlement of this kind? We have a council hall, we have a hospital, we have the House of the Shovani, we have the Brassworks, we got mushroom processing, we got the rivers, we got the mushroom farms, we got the fish pond. Oh, let me make sure I have that noted down. River and ponds have blind crabs and fish. So, and the other thing that I want to ask is, what do we use to light the whole area? Is the whole area mostly lit by mushroom, or how else do they handle their lighting? Obviously, fire is a possibility, but then there is always the possibility that it will be too smoke-filled because of various reasons, or that the smoke will escape and give them away. Do they use light magic? Or perhaps another distillation from the mushroom? Right. And well, the other thing is they can use distillation from the mushrooms. Yeah, if they're angered, they can make the lights go out. But if they use a distillation from the mushrooms, then the light in the rest of Underhaven isn't necessarily the light isn't necessarily colored. All right. Cool. I've messaged you on Penny. I have messaged you on Blue Sky. Nice tuke. I've messaged you on Blue Sky for the appropriate place to send the art. Hopefully, now that you have the rights to the art, Penny, you will allow us to put that art in the setting description on the website. I don't know why you're imagining floating mushrooms on tiny ships either. What, are you talking about lighting? Or what? Okay. I think it would be more localized than that. Much of the lighting is probably going to end up being like lanterns, but instead of filled with fire, we absolutely could. That would be very awesome. Both a setting and a connected adventure. I'm up for it. But yeah, so I'm looking at like lanterns, except instead of filled with flame, they're full of this more clear mushroom distillate that glows for a significant amount of time, and then they have to replace it. But it doesn't have any heat, and it doesn't have any smoke. It's a chemical process. Oh, that's neat, because then they have just these random like floating stars throughout the Underhaven. Number one. Number two, here's the other thing. If there is bioluminescent fungi, then there are bioluminescent insects, because they eat the bioluminescent fungi. So this place is full of floating bioluminescent spores and fireflies. In a lot of ways, they end up looking like, yeah, the main cavern is the star cavern, because they have these stars, you know. Yeah. The bioluminescent spores and fireflies all really like to go up high, right? So the roof of the cavern looks like moving stars all the time. And yes, I'm making notes of what the mushroom production can yield, because fungi are so powerful. Now, cordyceps gets a little scary, because then you got the potential for invasion by cordyceps infected ants, and then, you know, cordyceps zombies and stuff. So, the adventure, they might be. The Kashari species might well be bioluminescent, yes. And it makes a lot of sense for the Fae in general. The other thing is they could have other Fae with them, right? Living in the groves. Like, you know, you got little shining pixies and all that. Yet another thing constantly flying around, providing wonder and light and rainbows. Oh, and, fairies are now a playable race in D&D and in, Tales of the Valiant and in Daggerheart. So, that gives us 3 native species to this area in an underground territory, and not one of them is a dwarf or a drow. All right, yeah. So, was there anything else we needed in these areas on the map? Penny, what do you think else this settlement needs to have that would be on the map because it's, actually stable? Oh, yeah. I need to put the... I agree. So, if Northwest... I added wells, so we have... But that would be different than the holy wells, right? Because I added a well down in the storage and market and by the Shivani's house and the hospital. Would those be holy wells, tribute wells, or would we want them to be different and separate? Yeah, because that's one of the reasons I kind of thought it would be good to have the well between the Shivani's house and the hospital, right? Because then the Shivani has access to the holy water and the hospital has access to the holy water because you need those for healing, right? And for cleansing before doing business and after doing business. That makes sense to me. But what it does mean is I need to put one over by the mushroom processing plant too. Yeah, I'm going to highlight it. You see it now? There, and there, and there. Sweet. It's close enough that the counselors can use it too. Now, one of the possibilities is to take this one and move it inside the tracks, but then they might not be able to get to it. So I think we'll leave it outside the tracks here. Because there might be Vardos going by and breaking up the, traffic. All right, we have gotten, to be honest, an astonishing amount done. This has been pretty cool. Oh, down to the right. Obviously, rivers go from high to low. So up to the west is also probably to the surface or something like it. And down to the southeast is deeper into the dark. If there are threats, they likely come from the southeast. Threats equals adventures. Absolutely. Oh, no. It's not to the depths. We got the hooded depths here. It's better than to the depths. To the sunless sea. In Xanadu did Kublai Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf the sacred river ran, through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea. Absolutely. I was about to cut off and go raid somebody. So... which means sunless sea means aboleths and other cool shit. All right, so let us absolutely make sure we save this thing again, although happily it does save as we go. We indeed must do more things together, my friend. You are very welcome. It just seemed like a simple, easy way to do something nice for a friend and to have fun. I am also exporting it as a pic so we can share it to people. If I may, share it, the picture of the map on the Discord and possibly on Blue Sky. Would that be okay? Very good. All right, let's go looking for some people to raid. Awesome. We are going to be raiding Trooper SJP, Excellence in Narrative Heaven's Vault. Because those are some cool people over there.
A megaphone with me. It's still in Massachusetts. I'm going to try to make a megaphone.
Also, it looks like they are doing world building, so that's cool.
Old man did yes and pray, who are a who,
all right. Ready, steady, go, go, go. Raid, raid, raid!
I get along.
Woo! Hey, Raiders, welcome.